Hiya, and welcome back to Tennis Ace. The game that teaches us that Shoichi knows. I'm sorry, hang on, let me put on a hoodie real quick. Actually, grab a blanket. I'm actually just gonna grab a blanket. I'm gonna look like an old person. Except I'm not old. I'm doing a thing. Hang on. Hold up. Just let me put this out there. It is. Oh my god, thank you for the subscription. Yeah, no. Hang on. Hold up. Let me just. I gotta say this, and I gotta say it on camera, so I'm just going to. Let me adjust that. This is part 82. Do you want me to also tag you all? I only tagged Amethyst because just to let him know that I, actually listened to at least one of the songs. I found some time and I decided to listen to it. But no, you don't get it. This is part 82. 80 fucking 2. 80 fucking 2. Yeah, vocalist, thank you for the subscription. Anyways. Let's just hop right in. 82. 82. Man, you really are an idiot. Excuse you, but out of the two of us, which one is the bigger idiot? You're about 10 centimeters taller than me. That's not what I meant by bigger, you dumbass. Well, I hope you didn't mean the other kind of bigger, then, because I really don't feel like checking. No, of course not. Stop being such a weirdo. Once we've both caught our breath and the laughter finally begins to die down, I look down at my knee. I don't know why, but I keep staring at it in silence for a while. Lots of things go through my mind all at once, and I don't know on which of those thoughts to land. After what felt like a long time, I finally make up my mind about what to say. Things sure have been changing a lot for this past month, huh? Yeah. I appreciate you telling me, though. I hope we'll still be able to stay close friends. I don't know if it'll be weird or awkward for you to be around me now, considering. Nah, don't be stupid. Hiya. Hello, Sam. Nah, don't be stupid. You're not getting rid of me that easily. Yeah, Sam is here in chat. I mean, sure, I'll probably keep some distance, but that's only because I don't think we need to be together all damn time to be close friends. I really am happy for you and Jun-kun. Oh, hi, Star. I'll make sure to call him and congratulate him once I get home. That's pretty nice of you. Yeah, no, like, in case you couldn't tell, up here, Sam has moderator on there. He is a moderator. That's pretty nice of you. Would you look at that? It's almost like I'm a very nice person. You threw my boyfriend against a wall. How nice can you really be? There were extenuating circumstances. Sure. Shoichi shakes his head, flashing me a bittersweet smile before getting up from the couch, looking down at me. Well, I probably shouldn't stick around for too long. Dad might say something if I take too long getting home. And I should probably leave you to relax and rest. Yeah. I'm glad we talked, though. It feels good to clear the air. I've held on to all of this for years. It's nice to finally not have to keep secrets anymore. Yeah. It's very sus. I'll see you tomorrow, Yuuichi. You don't need to worry about seeing me out. I know where you guys keep the emergency key. I'll lock up when I leave and put it back in there. Thanks. See you tomorrow, too. Bye-bye. I stay on my seat, merely following Shoichi with my eyes as he walks out. I did not. Let me check. I did not. And, I'm not getting any notifications about it. Twitter is weird. Oh, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I feel like it should be pretty clear. I do not have the best time management skills. Ever. I am horrible at time management. I do not have the best skills. The moment I hear the door closing and locking behind him... Yeah, I know you saw my mom. Yes, Sam, you did see my mom. Didn't just see my mom, Sam. You fucking met her. You met my mom. The moment I hear the door closing and locking behind him, I let out a sigh, leaning back fully on the couch and letting my back slide down a little. So Shoichi had feelings for me all this time, huh? I can't believe I never saw that coming. I guess I really am a lot denser than I thought I was. I wonder how much different things would have been if he told me about it. But then again, I don't think I'd have been able to handle it. For good or bad, it took a lot of things happening to me over the past few months to get me to a place where I could finally accept June's confession. Without all of those experiences, I don't know if I'd be here. I looked down at my knee once again, gingerly placing a hand on it and rubbing my brace over the fabric of my pants. It stings a little, but even the pain feels a little refreshing now. I can feel it, and that alone is reason enough for me to celebrate right now. I think. Am I starting to sound like a self-help book? Because it sure feels like it. Sometime later, before doing anything else, I decide that taking some time to sit down and let my conversation with Shoichi fully sink in is my #1 priority at the moment. After a couple minutes sitting around in the living room, I decided to head upstairs and quickly knock on Mom's bedroom door to let her know I was home. Just as I imagined, she had locked herself in her room, put on earbuds, and started working while no one else was home. Heh, I guess habits are a lot harder to break than they might seem. Once that is taken care of, I took a bath, taking advantage of the fact that Aki isn't home at the moment and wouldn't be around to nag me about bathing together. While it's nice to bond with my little brother once again, certain things really should remain private. Which brings me to this moment. Am I really doing this? I was thinking about whether or not I should call June and let him know about my conversation with Shoichi. Amusingly enough, by the time I came out of the shower, I realized my phone had been dead for the last few hours. I juiced it up quickly and turned it on to see a single message from June. You told Shoichi-san? Resisting the urge to laugh was probably the hardest thing I've done all day today. Screw it. He's my boyfriend. I should be able to talk to him about it. Besides, Shoichi said so himself. They'd talked about June's relationship with me a few times behind my back. How big of a deal can it really be for me to have told Shoichi that June and I have gone official? I can't believe you! Apparently a big deal. I hear the telltale sign of the call collecting, which is immediately interrupted by June quiet yelling at me from the other end. Hi to you too? You could have at least given me a heads up. Do you have any idea how surprised I was when Shoichi-san called me to ask about it? I can kinda imagine, yeah. Although in my defense, probably not more surprised than I was to find out that my childhood best friend was in love with me. So, you know, shit happens. We all hate math, Star. We all hate math. Sorry, it slipped out. I promise it wasn't on purpose. It's fine. I was planning on telling Shoichi-san soon anyway. You were? Yeah, the only difference is that I plan on asking for your permission first. You're really not going to let this go, are you? We'll see. Uh-oh, I can almost hear the mischievous grin on June's face right now. I might be in danger. Huh? I'm in danger? You know what? Fuck it. Hang on. I'm going to do a thing. A thing is going to be done. I am going to lay down the groundwork for something. I am going to be laying down the groundwork right now. I'm in danger. Just for a shitpost. Groundwork for a shitpost time. Groundwork for shitpost time. Alright. Hi, and welcome to the laptop. I'm in danger sound. Damn, Sam, you're really going to roast Star in chat? Damn.
I'm in danger.
Come on. Come on. Is it? There it goes. There it goes. Ah. Is it going to work? Is it going to cooperate? Are you cooperating, laptop? Come on. Come on. Come on. Are you going to cooperate or are you going to not cooperate? What about the pipe falling sound? I will consider it. It is not cooperating. Alright, I'm saving it to streams. Wrong thing. I am like, Anyways, is it done? Is it going to cooperate? I don't... No. Ah! Ah! Computer! Why you no cooperate? Anyways. I might be in danger. Hey, yo, what the hell? Yo? What are you... What? Did you seriously come all the way upstairs just to do that?
Wait.
Did you...
Wait, one more.
Oh my... Damn it, Sam! Damn it, Sam! Hey, yo. My computer froze. My computer froze. Yay. My computer froze. And it still hasn't finished downloading. I'm just going to have to download it later. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Anyway, what about the part where he had feelings for me? Did he mention that he told me that? Oh yeah, he did. And that doesn't surprise you in the slightest? It was pretty obvious. I'd known he had a thing for you for a while. Yeah. And he kept trying to win me over regardless? Well, all's fair in love and in war. You're a lot more sly than you look, aren't you? Yeah, might as well. It's not like I wanted to hurt Shoichi-san, I just... cared more about getting together with you. It's okay, I get it. You do? Of course. You don't need to worry.
Emotional damage.
You don't need to worry. I won't hold the fact that you intentionally kept doing something that you knew would hurt my best friend against you. I'm scared now. Good. I have to keep you on your toes. evil! Look who's talking. At least now I know I wasn't crazy for thinking that you and Shoichi seemed a lot closer. Yeah, I guess good things can come out of some of the weirdest situations. I suppose, if I'm being honest, I'm surprised you weren't a bit more worried that Shoichi told me about his feelings. Huh? Why would I be worried? I don't know. You might have thought that he was trying to confess and then steal me from you or something? Which is not at all what happened. He only told me because... Psh, relax. I know Shoichi-san wouldn't do that. He's a great guy. Wow. No hesitation whatsoever. I can't tell if he's confident or naive. Pushing my laptop. And you're completely okay with this? I mean, I have to admit that I was a bit freaked out when Shoichi first told me. I do feel a bit bad for Shoichi-san, but I think it's been good for him in some level. He seemed a lot less stressed lately. I think moving on is good for him. It's not healthy to keep holding on to something so heavy, even if it's pulling you under. Whoa, June, that was kinda wise. Are you going to keep acting shocked every time I say something smart? Because it's getting old. Sorry, I guess I'm not as funny as I like to think I am. Nope, you aren't. At least beat around the bush a little, don't agree with me so emphatically. By the way, I'm glad you two were able to have that conversation. Shoichi-san sounded really relieved over the phone. He did? Yeah, I could tell that he was smiling. Dang, really? I didn't know it'd gotten to him that much. Maybe he was keeping it in while he was still here? Or maybe he felt awkward saying it in front of me? But for the sake of my own sanity, please ask me before you tell anyone else. I'm not at all against letting our friends know. I don't try to keep my sexuality a secret to begin with, but it's bad for my heart to have someone bring it up without warning. Oh, yeah, good point. I hadn't considered that. Anyway, I'd love to keep chatting, but I really need to finish up some homework before I turn in for the night. Homework, huh? Look at you being all responsible. I don't want to keep having to be tutored all the time. It feels bad to keep needing other people to help me. No, but I kind of like tutoring you. But if June is trying to be more independent, I'll suck it up and keep that thought to myself. I'll give him whatever support I can, since this seems to be important to him. I'll talk to you later then. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Think of me when you go to sleep. Okay, you too. I cut the call after we both said our farewells, holding the phone to my ear for a couple more seconds while I let June's last words process in my mind for a little bit. Think of me when you go to sleep, huh? I guess I just might. Alright. Little fun fact. I hated math. When I was younger, I hated math. I absolutely despised math, but I will say this. My senior year of high school, math was actually my favorite subject. I know, shocking, isn't it? Math was my favorite subject my senior year of high school. And that's because I was actually good at it for once. I was actually good at math for once, and it was in my senior year of high school. And I do not trust this scene one bit. I do not trust it. I don't know, I actually kind of liked math my senior year of high school. College math? Depends on the college math. I leaned back in the bathtub, enjoying the soothing sensation of water all around me. For the last few days, I'd managed to convince Aki to give me some more privacy and peace of mind. Among those small victories, I counted the right to bathe by myself. As much as Aki seemed to be having fun, and I do have to admit that on some level it was fun to be able to chat and goof off, I valued my independence much higher than that. Especially because, due to the warm water helping my stiff muscles and joints to relax, it was an especially good time to stretch and rub my knee. Your question? No. The water offered little resistance and allowed me to do so with a lot less pain and risk than I would otherwise have doing it in the open air. But then again, less doesn't mean nothing. And considering how every single pop or groan on my part would cause Aki to flinch or dart back up on his feet as if he had to come help me or something, I could hardly relax in that kind of situation. No. It still hurts sometimes. It wasn't fun to feel that pain. It was even less fun to realize just how right the doctors were when they told me about how I would have a limited range of motion. Honestly, even getting my knee to straighten up seemed completely beyond my capabilities right now. Which is to say I haven't been getting better, of course. Every single day, I could feel it little by little, feeling almost glacial at times, but there was actual progress being made. Progress which, of course, did nothing to address the real problem with my current situation. Second place, huh? It's petty. I'm fully aware of how petty it is, but even though I was all smiles and asking them to tell me about the Kanto regional competition in every possible detail, hell, even though I insisted that I was fine and they didn't need to be so coy around me, the truth I couldn't ignore was that I wasn't. I wasn't fine with it. A thought keep spinning around inside my head like a merry-go-round that would never stop. And the more I tried to push those thoughts inside the small box I'd created for them in my mind, the more they seemed to fight back. I thought I was fine last night. Talking to June was a good distraction. It really did lift my spirits, but my unconscious mind was an entirely different story. It had a habit of bringing to surface thoughts best kept hidden. Thoughts I thought I managed to push away into the deepest recesses of my mind. Thoughts I thought would never return. Does that person have to rev their engine very loud? I dreamt of Takagi-kun last night. I don't even know why. Thinking of the tournament brought the thought to my mind over and over. Like I was mourning something that had never even come to pass. The thought of him seemed to show up more and more often recently. Maybe it was because I had June now and I felt happy about it. But in doing so, I finally realized that part of me I'd been such a denial about this whole time. Pretending like I didn't so. Doing such a good job of it that I convinced even myself about it. Yeah, maybe it's because of that the thought of Takagi-kun seemed to linger especially often now. Thoughts of what might have happened if I knew better back then. It's not like I want to go back. If anything, I think I like June even more than I used to like Takagi-kun. I know our relationship was only just started, but I've been thinking about my feelings for him for so long that I didn't realize he'd gotten such a tight grip on me over time. Ugh, trying to think of all of this is just feeding the merry-go-round. Wait, can you even feed a merry-go-round? Is that a bad metaphor? Ah, who cares? It's not like I'm telling anyone about it anyway. There's no one to judge me inside my own head. Alone with these thoughts festered inside my mind, I traced the outline of the scar that formed on my shoulder. As the fur began to go around it, it grew fainter and fainter. Soon the last reminder of the accident would go away, even if the consequences of it never did. I can't decide whether that thought is comforting or haunting right now. Why do I have to get lost in thoughts like these every time I'm alone in the first place? I hate being surrounded by people right now. It feels suffocating. Trying to keep a pleasant smile and an upbeat attitude makes me feel like I'm some kind of show monkey, made to dance to keep them all entertained. But the alternative to that would be worse. Way, way worse. I'd rather pretend than have them fretting incessantly over me all the time. If anything, I think that would be the absolute worst part about it. Yes, please do. I guess I'll take the pretending, even if it sucks. Trying to chase those thoughts away from my mind, I grabbed the hose and pointed it at my own head, making sure to close my eyes before unleashing it at full blast. I don't know if that does much, but it's at least comforting in its own strange way, and right now I'll take whatever comfort I can get. I close my eyes, leaning further back and letting myself slowly slide down until just the tip of my snout is out of the water. Hey, yo!
Yo, mama.
Hey, yo! At the very least, it's relaxing to be like this. Maybe I should let my head sink fully under the water, hold my breath for a minute or so. If anything, I'm sure that would wake me up proper. And at the very least, gasping for air would give me something else to think about right now. Maybe that would be its own form of comfort too. Who knows? I just hate this constant up and down. Every time I think I'm doing fine, something happens to knock me back down to the ground. It's like the world is punishing me for having the gall to think I'm allowed to breathe out. I guess I have been holding my breath for a while now. In a way. Ugh. No. I don't like myself when I'm alone. These thoughts are not me. I don't want to think this kind of crap. These thoughts will not be me. I ain't giving the world the satisfaction of knocking me down that low. No friggin' way. Having spent quite enough time lazing around in the tub, I carefully get up on my feet, reaching for the support of the crutches off to the side so I can start drying myself and getting out of here. As much as I hate putting on an act, I want to be left alone with these intrusive thoughts even less. Sometime later. Upon finally heading downstairs after getting my fur properly dried and then getting dressed, I was greeted to the sight of Mom and Aki silently watching TV together in the living room. While he allows me to bathe on my own now, Aki still insists on going first so he can leave everything ready for me. And he's a stubborn type, so no amount of insistence will see him change his mind once he's decided on something, which is why decisive action is required to talk him out of it before he sets his mind on something. Ah, Nichan. No, Aki, stay. But... my own special brand of bullshit. I swear to God, my brain is just weird as hell. Like, hang on. My brain is weird as hell. Like, you don't get it. You do not fucking get it. Like, something came to mind. And that something was awful. It was awful. It was awful. It truly was awful. And that something was just Akiyoshi being a Yoshi from Mario. Akiyoshi being a Yoshi from Mario. You know, like the game series Mario by Nintendo. Just gonna do a little dance. And I'm also going to kill the lights, because, like, every single time I turn on my webcam, it's like, yeah. No, it's like Super Mario Brothers. Ah! Aki had tried to get up from his seat to help me down the stairs as soon as he heard the sound of my crutches hitting the wooden floor. However, I quickly shut him down before he had the chance to. What did we talk about? Sweetie, I understand your concern, but your brother's peace of mind is important to his recovery as well. Do not try to aggravate him. Okay. There we go. Aki, now looking slightly more downcast than he was a minute ago, sits back down on the chair, earning me a small victory in the long, arduous battle for my independence. Like I said, decisive action. I appreciate the help, but I'm not completely useless, you know. I've been going up and down the stairs just fine without help. I even did so at school yesterday. If you say so. Of course, leave out the part about my whole body being sore after, especially under my arms where the crutches applied the most pressure, and also the part about me nearly regretting my decision. If you heard that, he just might never leave me out of his sight again, and by God, that would be humiliating. But the same goes to you, Yuuichi-kun. Your brother is just trying to help. Do try to be more understanding. All of my understanding is already being used at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate how much Aki seems to care, but I'm not an invalid. I sneak a glance at the clock, checking how long we still have before needing to leave for school. Thankfully, there's still enough time to sit down and take a breather for a minute. Lord knows I need it every time I go up or down the stairs. I did some more stretching in the bath this morning. I can move my knee a little bit more than I did yesterday, so that's nice. That's great, sweetie. Do remember we have to take you back to the hospital next week for a quick checkup on your progress. I'm sure the doctors will be pleased to hear as well. Ugh, don't remind me. I'll be just as well never having to set foot in that place again. Agreed. Now, you two will not turn into hospital haters. Not under my watch. I know they can be scary sometimes, But you can't avoid seeing a doctor just because you're uncomfortable. Your health is more important than that. We know that. Jeez, Mom. Still, it bears repeating. Now? Does it really need repeating now? I suppose the timing might not have been the best. There we go. Still, your knee is getting better, huh? That's pretty cool. How much were you able to move it? It still stings a little if I try to get it perfectly straight. Right now I can manage getting halfway there, or 3/4 of the way. Hard to say. The warm water certainly helps. Not that it doesn't still sting a little. The worst one is the feeling of something catching and tugging. Kind of like suddenly being caught and reeled in by a fishhook, I would imagine. It's really unpleasant, but thankfully it doesn't happen all that often anymore. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to get rid of these a lot sooner than we imagined. I gesture to the crutches, trying to keep the annoyance from showing in my voice. Don't get me wrong, they've been my pals since the accident, and I'm so glad I have them, but I'll be even gladder when I don't. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, sweetie. We'll focus on your recovery first. Whether or not you can stop using the crutches sooner than expected will be for the doctor to decide. I know that, I'm just trying to look forward to something. Sheesh. Tough crowd. Nichan, we should probably get going. The cab will be here any minute. I guess. I know you don't like it, but please bear with it until you're better, honey. We don't want to rush your recovery and end up hurting you even worse. Yeah, I know that. I've at least gotten 10 different versions of that speech from what seems to be everyone in my life lately. Getting up from the sofa, we quickly collect our bags, watching the car pull up outside from the window just as we begin to do so. I guess there is an upside to hiring a service to drop by on a scheduled hour, huh? I left your lunches on the counter. Don't forget to bring them with you. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, thanks. It's pretty nice to have your cooking on the regular again. It's nice to get to do it again as well. I'm definitely savoring this while it lasts. I know Mom won't be able to stay home all that long. Hell, she's already been taking to her room so she can work more and more often as of late. It's only a matter of time at this point. As if repeating what has sadly already become a routine, Shoichi and Sai are both waiting for me by the gates when the car pulls up. Even if I insist I don't need help, they insist doubly on sticking around. By the time we get to my classroom, I have to almost push them off to avoid them heading inside with me. I've only been back at school for a few days, yet all this tending and babying is already making my head spin. Thank God. I shut the door off behind me, leaning back against it and breathing out. When did even playing pretend start to feel like I'm holding my breath? When I close my eyes and look around, I notice the familiar faces of a few of my classmates, at least the ones that care enough to show up early. Granted, class starts in 20 minutes, so maybe we're not that early after all. But most importantly, good morning! I see you staring at me, you know. And I saw you coming inside! And you didn't say anything right away? You waited for me to notice you? Well, you looked like you needed a minute. Did I now? Sheesh, am I that obvious? Don't feel bad, it's your shoulders. You carry a lot of tension on them. Yeah, I have no idea what that means. Just sit down. Aye, sir. I diligently do as I'm told, not wanting to upset my new tiger overlord in any way. At least not this early in our relationship. So, you weren't going to ask if I needed help or anything? Did you need help? No. Then there was no reason for me to ask, was there? That easy? Well, you look like you have a lot on your mind. I can tell that you're not in the best mood, but I'm not going to prod. You tell me if you needed to vent, right? Right. And you don't need me to help you to your seat or anything, do you? No? Then there's no reason to even bring the subject up. In fact, the only reason we're talking about it is because you mentioned it. I was happy to let bygones be bygones. Man, you sure noticed and considered a lot of things in a very short amount of time. Oh, no further comment on it, huh? I was kind of expecting some kind of explanation, but it looks like I'm not getting any. Alright then, I'll take the silence as a cue and leave it at that. By the way, you arrived a lot sooner than usual, huh? Usually just barely beat the clock here, if even that. Not always late. I'll have you know I can show up to school early too. Can you? Sometimes. What's the occasion? No occasion. I just know when you usually get here, and I kind of wanted to have the company. Besides, it's better to be here and chatting with you than stay at home arguing with my dad for the 8th time this week and try to get him to put on clothes. It can't be that bad. Yes, it can! It can be exactly that bad. Really? What makes it so bad? Okay, imagine you're trying to eat when your dad is walking around naked. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh god! Oh god, June! I am so sorry for you. And your breakfast for the day is sausage and eggs. Okay, yep, that'll do it. Case closed. We don't need to talk about this anymore. No, knew it. That's... Yikes. Remind me never to drop by your place unannounced. How long have you been here anyway? Not that long. 10 minutes or so. I'm not that much of an early riser. Not anymore, at least. But you used to be. Back when I still played soccer, yeah. But then again, I used to be way more active in general back then. I'm sorry to hear. Do you miss it? Nah, not that much. Oh, come on. You're going to start lying to me now? You could tell that you're trying not to bum me out? Yes. What was it you said? Something, it's your shoulders and maybe your face a little bit. You got kind of scrunchy. I'm not used to people being able to call me out on it. What can I say? I'm sharp. You can't put the wool over my eyes that easy. I'm onto you. Crap. Wait, no, I've been saying it wrong. Carp? What the hell is carp? Forget you heard anything? No way. How could I? I said forget it! Oh, man. What am I supposed to do now? He's too cute when he gets all worked up like this. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. I thought it was a typo. I thought it was a typo. Turns out I was saying it was spelled correctly. I thought he was saying crap. Turns out he was saying carp. My god, his tail is lashing and everything. No, keep it inside, Yuuichi. Don't you dare laugh. You'd only annoy more if you laugh. Okay, forget I asked. Now how about we get back to that question I asked you earlier then? About whether or not you miss soccer? You're not letting that go, huh? Quite astute of you. Fine, I'll talk. And we got there eventually. I guess I miss it every now and again. I think I miss the team aspect more than anything. It was nice to be a part of a group. But I was a completely different kid back then. I doubt any of the kids I knew back then would even recognize me now. We're all pretty different than we were as kids. That's called growing up. Really? Because somehow I have a feeling that Mizuguchi-san isn't all that different. Okay, you got a point there, but Sai is the exception, not the rule. Hell, she's the exception in most things. I don't think she'd be too happy with you if she heard you say that. Then don't tell her. I guess my silence could be bought. Oh, you guess? For a price. Really? You're charging me now? Hey, they do say that if you're good at something, you should never do it for free. And you're good at being silent? I can learn! Doesn't exactly inspire confidence. What am I even paying you for again? My sunny disposition? Yeah, I think I'm taking my business elsewhere. Boo! And this is why June is my favorite. Even more so now. He has so much sass. There is so much sass. Boo! Look of total and complete annoyance on June's face makes me laugh for some reason. I try to cover... Underground, welcome to the underground. Won't bow down. There's no kings here to leave your crown. You say that we're vicious. Best keep your distance. You know that we run this town. Welcome to the underground. I try to cover my mouth when I feel it coming so as to avoid annoying him even more. But before I can react, I bellow out loudly. As soon as I catch myself doing it, I have that oh crap moment in my head, thinking that I've just managed to make a ticking time bomb tick even faster. But instead, that's more or less what I like to see. Huh? What? Couldn't tell that I was trying to make you laugh from the beginning? Not so sharp now, huh? That's... What is it? Cat got your tongue? Illegal. I declare this illegal. Nope, pretty sure I'm still in the clear. You think you're so smart, don't you? Who? Me? Not at all. Good, because right now I can't decide whether you're adorable or just an idiot. A lot of things can be true at the same time. He has so much sass. What? No reaction from that? I thought for sure I'd be able to get him all, you know, spinny outy and flustered if I called him that. Huh. What? I got pinched by my chair. That's just not at all how I thought you'd take it. I thought you'd get flustered and everything if I called you, you know, that. Nah, I'm happy you think so. Wow. Who are you again? Because you keep surprising me. For these past few weeks. Come on, don't look at me like that. Is it that weird that I'm taking the compliment? Yes. Hey! There we go. Now that's more June-like. All is right with the world now. I don't know why, but I have a sudden urge to pinch you. You wouldn't hurt a crippled kid, would you? You're not... Ugh! Why do I bother? Because you're oh so interested in making me laugh. You're nowhere near as funny as you think you are, you know. I can live with that. The tiger groans, grabbing an eraser from his things and throwing it at me. And by throw, I mean uselessly tossing it in my general direction, which might have been enough to hurt me if I were an ant, or a very slow fly. Wow, my wounds. They will never heal. Shut up. June and I both share a laugh. I don't know why, but even the silliest things seem to be so funny to me when he's the one doing it. Maybe I really have fallen for him harder than I realized. Maybe that's what this is. Though if that's the case, I do have to wonder what all that agony and indecision was for. Feels like a waste now. Once we both stop laughing, we end up staring at each other in silence. I want to fill that silence somehow, but I can't think of the words to say. Granted, my mind has basically been turned to mush over the past few days. If anything, I'm surprised I'm coherent at all. So, June ends up being the one breaking the silence, shifting on his chair, straightening himself up, and clearing his throat while talking. I don't know why, but the gesture seems oddly amusing to me. I guess I should have led with it, but how are you doing? Huh? What are you talking about? You did ask me that. Like I said, I'm fine right now. Kinda hungry, though. Wish I'd had a bit more for breakfast. You know, I don't mean that. I mean, how's your leg? Oh. I thought you said you weren't going to ask if I needed help. Asking how you're doing isn't offering help. It's caring and checking up on you. Relentlessly badgering you for an answer would be a problem, though. I'm only asking because I worry. Whatever your answer is, I'll believe you and leave it at that. Wish more people could be like that. June laughs dryly. However, his laugh sounds oddly hollow. Trust me, I know what that's like. Wouldn't want to make you deal with that, too. Oh, right. I guess you would know, huh? I'm not saying our situations are the same, but yeah. Besides, the tension is kind of palpable. The minute I walked into the room, I noticed how everyone seemed tense and kept sneaking glances at you. Even I felt awkward, and I just walked in. What? They have? Huh? Yeah, they have. You didn't notice? Honestly, looking around to try and figure out what my classmates were doing was the last thing on my mind when I got here. Actually, no, scratch that. Saying it was the last thing on my mind makes it sound like it was on my mind at some point. Not really. Are they still looking? Yep. Like they want to say something but don't know how to approach. You're very perceptive, aren't you? I have pretty good peripheral vision and hearing. Both of those things really help. Plus, when you spend years trying to convince people that you're okay and trying to get their attention off yourself, you learn to get really good at observing and redirecting. Yeah, kind of get the feeling I've been on the receiving end of that a handful of times. Sorry. Aha! So I was right. I guess that does explain those times when June would randomly change the subject or say something that felt completely out of character. Dear Lord, I know he said he'd been putting up a little act, but I didn't realize he was that good at it. I don't know how to feel about this. How about we just get back to the original topic? You're kind of pulling a face right now, and I don't like it. Ugh. My knee has been getting better, I guess. It's still a huge pain. It hurts if I move too suddenly or put too much weight on it. Kind of feels like, I don't know, a fishing hook is tugging at something inside of it. It's really painful and really unpleasant. That does sound unpleasant! Other than that, I've just been following the doctor's recommendations. Some light stretching, especially during the bath. Hot water helps soothe the pain and I can stretch it out further than I normally would. Can't quite stretch my leg perfectly straight yet, but I'm getting there. And I should start physical therapy soon, so that helps. Other than that, I've been slowly weaning off the painkillers. I'm a bit mixed on that because it means the pain has been getting a little worse, but I also don't feel as groggy. They were making you feel groggy? They were making me feel a lot of things. The first week at the hospital was really rough being on those. Couldn't quite think straight. It felt really peaceful, but also really wrong. At one point, I was pretty convinced I couldn't feel my face. And you usually can feel your face? Actually, now that you mention it, that's a good point. I guess I don't really feel my face, do I? That's weird. I guess I don't know how to describe the feeling after all. That's okay. Medication can make you feel all kinds of weird things. Is that something you've dealt with too? I still take meds for my heart, and at one point I was on antidepressants, sedatives, and painkillers. Do you really want to ask me that question? Oh, sorry. Jun sighs, slowly shaking his head. I can just barely notice his shoulders slightly slumping along with his tail curling around him and on his lap. No, sorry. I'm the one who should apologize. I did promise you I'd tell you the truth. It's just that I'm still embarrassed by it. I get it. Plus, I guess you'd be worried talking about this kind of thing in public, right? Nah, that part I'm fine with. Really good hearing and eyesight, remember? I know for a fact that no one is paying close enough attention to overhear us right now. How does that even work? Tigers have really sharp senses, and I'm a ferocious tiger. Ferocious tiger. Here, fear me! Roar! Oh my god. Did he just go roar? Unreal. Made you laugh, didn't I? I'm struggling to keep a straight face right now, that much is for sure. Trying to lighten up the mood a bit when things get too tense isn't all that bad. I have a habit of doing it a lot. So much so that I do it without even thinking about it sometimes. Like right now. Sorry. You don't need to apologize. Just don't go raw in public again. I don't think I'd be able to keep my composure a second time. And I'd rather people not look at me like I'm some kind of lunatic when I start laughing uncontrollably. I don't know. When you put it like that, it just makes me want to do it even more. Behave. Aww. Distracted as we were by our conversation, we were both caught by surprise once the bell rings. Or maybe I'm a tad more surprised than Jun is. I nearly jumped from my seat, which wouldn't have been great for my leg. Calm down, it's just a bell. It took me by surprise. I'll bet. With the door opening barely a minute after the official start of class, Jun and I are both forced to sit facing forward at the arrival of our teacher. I will say, the conversation did wonders for my mood, though I still don't want to watch class right now. I wish I could keep chatting like this. It's strange. I've known Jun for a while, but I don't remember our conversations ever feeling quite this refreshing before. Is this just from him no longer holding back and showing me more of his true personality? If so, it's kinda nice. A few hours later, once again, lunchtime arrives. Not all too soon. And my browser froze again. Yay! Hooray for browser freezing! I've been so distracted lately that the whole morning class period feels like a blur. It's not even like I'm intent on not paying attention. It's just that before I notice it, I start zoning out. Wondering to myself if anyone is watching me to see how I react. Asking myself whether the reason the teachers aren't calling on me to read or answer questions is because they pity me. Thinking that people are just waiting for me to stumble and prove that I do need help catching up after all. Those thoughts keep creeping up on me every now and again. It's honestly frustrating. I just want to go on with my life and not think about it. But when I least expect it, if I leave my guard down for even a second, they come right back anyway. Even when I think I'm doing good. Yuuichi-kun, are you even paying attention? Sorry, I zoned out. Yeah, I figured. At least you didn't lie and say you were listening. Yeah, I just have a lot on my mind lately. Yeah, I don't blame you. A lot has happened over the past few weeks. Geez, when you put it like that, it makes me feel like I was insensitive for asking. No, you're perfectly fine. Just because I was distracted doesn't mean there's anything wrong. Oh, really? Yeah, I was thinking over some stuff. But nothing really all that important. Or, well, not super urgent, at least. I did want to ask a question. I just wasn't sure how to go about it. What question is that? Well, the Kanto regionals are over. You both placed pretty well, all things considered. I won't be surprised if this latest result got Keisuke a seeded spot in the next competition, for instance. But are you guys adjusting your training any? You want to talk about that? Yeah, we don't have to talk about tennis. We can... Guys! Jun cuts into the conversation, interrupting Keisuke and Sai's attempts at deflection right away. Once all eyes are on him, he clears his throat, putting on a smile on his face before continuing. If you think you're being helpful... I know you think you're being helpful, but please stop doing that. Please let Yuuichi-san decide what he can and can't handle. It's barely even been a day since the last time he's asked. It's kind of hard to watch otherwise. Did Jun just interrupt them to back me up? God, I could kiss you right now, Jun. Right, my bad. I guess you really did tell us before and everything. It's just hard. We don't want to be the insensitive people that drone on and on about something you can't ever do again anymore. It's indelicate. I'd say the only indelicate part so far was the about something you can't do ever again anymore. Feels like that part wasn't necessary. Crap! I meant... Yuuichi-san, you too. Don't tease people when they're trying their best to do as you asked. Teased? Sorry. When I saw my chance to make you squirm a little, I couldn't resist.
Yuichi-san, that's cruel.
Guess it's my turn now to say, my bad.
You're evil.
Yes, but for future reference, I accept Dr. Evil or Mr. Mayhem. Ah, so you're not just evil, you're delusional. What's the point of being a villain if you can't have a cool name and a lair? Man, I gotta get myself one of those. Weren't you asking about tennis? Oh, right, thanks for the reminder. So close. Either way, spill. Come on, don't keep me in suspense. I really want to know. You guys just went through the second largest competition. The next step is already nationals. And I'm sure you were able to identify things you thought you needed to work on during your matches. We always do.
Well,
I guess. So?
truth be told, when playing against Yuuichi and Tanabe-san, I did manage to realize a few things I needed to work on. Well, my ball control is quite good, and I don't lose to Tanabe-san in terms of shot variety. He had way more complicated patterns of attack. I had a hard time even setting up my offense since he'd quickly dismantle it.
I'm not surprised. I did say before that you guys' styles are very similar. Tanabe isn't all that physically gifted. Granted, he's probably more so than you are. Not that that is particularly hard in high-level sports.
Thanks, man.
Tanabe does have a more complicated attack patterns, but he also tends to be more decisive. You can try to play the long con, which can be good, but it can also be your own detriment. I've seen you ignore opportunities to score immediately so you can postpone the points. While it can work to throw your opponent off, it can also come back to bite you in the ass.
But that's to advance my own playstyle. If I want to throw my opponents off their rhythm, I need to let them get into rhythm first. Isn't that a given?
Of course. Like I said, it's not always a bad idea, but you need to learn to balance those two things better. Not every opponent is going to be as susceptible to that kind of strategy, so it'd be good for you to learn to be more decisive. Besides, Tanabe also has an advantage in that his fundamentals are almost all spec'd higher than yours. The only thing I'd say you might be legitimately better than him at is your footwork. You're pretty spry on your feet. You should capitalize more on that.
Capitalize on it? How?
Well, your shots have a lot of variety, but they lack weight. If you figure out how to add more power behind them without sacrificing too much fine control, that would be one way to force your opponents to ease up. Force more errors. You're fast on your feet, and you also react reasonably fast. If you really want to stick to your plans of forsaking opportunities to score in favor of conning your opponent, then you should learn to play a more defensive style, like Saya does, though you're nowhere near having her monster stamina.
Huh, funny you say that.
Oh? Keisuke's whole face scrunches up at my mention of his shots lacking weight. Did I perhaps strike a nerve? Is everything okay?
It's fine. It's just something else I realized when I was playing against Yuuichi. Every time I hit a shot that would otherwise be a winner, he somehow managed to make his way back to the ball. Not only that, I wasn't able to push him nearly as much during my serve game as I would have liked.
Yuuichi is a special case. He's tenacity taken to the extreme. If you have any openings whatsoever, he will keep grinding the point out until he finds them. A stronger serve might be able to push him back just far enough to give you the opening you need to score, but it's kind of pointless if you have to sacrifice your control to do it.
Well, it's not like I can't hit the ball harder, but you're right. I'd have to sacrifice my control to do it, so I never bothered trying. Try to incorporate stronger shots into your repertoire. Practice increasing the strength of your ground strokes little by little until you can level them up a bit. Even if you have to lose some control to do it, just make sure it's not a considerable amount. 3 to 6% loss of control would probably be fine. Keisuke is already plenty accurate enough. That excess accuracy is useless, however, if it can't be used to his benefit to score the point. Against lower level opponents, he would probably be fine, but players at high levels tend to be scrappier than most. They're used to everything high level. Just having accurate shots isn't enough to cut it, so they're used to people that hit hard that your shots end up sluggish by comparison. Oh, and this is something else I noticed the last time we played, but it wouldn't hurt for you to make your shots more compact. Compact?
Especially when you're using your backhand, but your swings tend to be far too wide. I get that a wider swing is a good way to impart more force into the shot, which can be used as a decent strategy without affecting your contact point on the ball, but too wide a swing will make you lose time. But if you're constantly using bigger swings, there's going to be a time lag. You have to get into position sooner since your swing takes longer, which can by itself affect the quality of your contact. A compact swing is better for a more consistent playstyle, especially if you're being defensive. It's true, I tend to keep my swings pretty compact myself. Of course you do, you're a defensive baseliner. Consistency and tenacity are your strong suits. While sure, you could probably add way more power into your strokes if you made your swings wider, there is really no point when you can already outgrind anyone else. The important thing here is balance. You don't want your swing so compact that you lack strength, but you don't want your swing so wide that you can't keep it consistent. Besides,
If you perfect a more compact swing, you can take the time you gain to hit balls on the rise to further force your opponent onto the defensive, or to simply give yourself extra time to think. Keikun is the type to be thinking 5 moves ahead at all times. He needs as much breathing room as he can get. When you're in the middle of a rally, gasping for air and starving yourself of oxygen, that gets really difficult. I see, so any advantage I can get can work to my favor, even if it's only a few milliseconds every shot. It'll eventually add up into a huge shift. Yeah, now you're getting it. Of course, that's not to say you should only ever hit compact. A wider swing can be good when you're already ahead and want to press your lead, or when you want some extra oomph to put away winner shot. But your style is very different from mine, and I could tell when I played against you that you kept trying to mimic my technique. Ad is about to start. You noticed that? Of course I did. I'm not blind. Sai and KK both stare at me like they just saw a ghost or something, like they can't quite believe what they're hearing. I don't know why, but I'm starting to feel a little creeped out by it. Why are you guys staring at me all quiet like that? It's kind of creepy. Hey Yuuichi, since when did you pay that much attention to Keisuke? Huh? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. What's that supposed to mean? You always seemed quite uninterested in other players during practice. You'd zone out into your own routine, and it was like the whole world disappeared. So I guess we're all surprised that you'd paid that much attention to me to notice all of that. What the hell is that supposed to mean? You're making me sound like some kind of self-absorbed douchebag. Of course not, that's not true. At least not the douchebag part. Yeah. What the hell? I am not self-absorbed. No offense, but I asked you tons of times to help me out with giving advice to the other players, and you always dismissed me saying that it wasn't your job and that you didn't care. Because it wasn't my job. You went so far as to say you didn't care? Maybe you were a little bit of a douchebag. I dare you to repeat that. Come on. You can't basically tell someone don't know, don't care, and expect not to be called an ass. We have a coach. One that Sai spent almost 3 years constantly defending and saying was competent every time I complained about him. It's his job to help players out. Thank you very much. Still, there's such a thing as tactful delivery, man. Bite me. Okay, you're not self-absorbed or a douchebag. Happy now? No! Well, I don't know what else to tell you. You're just agreeing with me to appease me. How is that supposed to make me happy? I can tell that you're lying. It's all in your eyes. They tell lies. Lies, I tell you. I paid attention to everyone around me, not just Keisuke, of course. I kept a closer eye on the more noteworthy players of the club. But I know stuff. I know a lot about you too, Saya-chan. You do? What did I just say? Stop acting so surprised. I was in that club room every single day. Of course I noticed things. It'd be weird if I hadn't. I'm insulted. Yeah, I did. For instance, Sai-chan takes a while to get her engine running during matches, not to mention the fact that she tends to size her opponents up during the first 4 or 5 games. So it's not uncommon for her to lose way more games in the first set than the rest. Or how she has a habit of dropping her shoulder whenever she's about to hit a cross-court shot, which a more analytical opponent could probably take advantage of to anticipate her shots. Or the way that she delays her forehand swing a second or so when she's about to hit a shallower shot. All of those are tells that that could be used against her, and are things she should probably avoid. But that's the first I've ever heard of it. Other than that, your fundamentals are quite good. You're way above junior level, at the very least. Your stamina is out of this world, but we know that already. Mostly because your ability to conserve your air is ridiculous. Okay, I'm checking the chat. You have xenomorph blood? You don't run out of breath as often. Each breath seems to last you twice as long as it does most people. Your powers and control are a step above most junior players, if not even most players in the futures and challenger levels. Really, you're kind of a wild beast when it comes to all of that stuff. I've literally never heard you say all that much about my playstyle. I thought you didn't pay attention to me whatsoever. I have no reason to study you quite as in-depth as I do other male players like Keikun. That much is true. We've been in the same club since we were kids. Of course I'd be bound to notice a thing or two about you. But then again, I only ever see you playing against other girls, so I wouldn't be able to extrapolate or figure out how you do in comparison with guys. That would be easy enough to test if you play against Keikun. If you know that much about us, then why did you never say so? Because I'm not a coach. It's not my job to offer her guidance. If I were to do so, I'd just be doing the guy's job for him. And, well, until I started listing off all the things I know about you two, I didn't realize that I knew so much.
But to have you zero in on exactly what it is that we need to work on that easy? Hey, yo! I mean, I didn't think there was anything I needed to fix, but after you mentioned that about me, I had a moment where I went, oh, wait, that was happening during the last competition.
It was?
Yeah, I had an opponent who kept anticipating a lot of my shots, and I couldn't figure out why. All I could tell was that I had this icky feeling like I was being watched extra hard or something. Oh, God! Oh, my God! I'm just reading chat right now. And it is wild. It is fucking wild. Well, you're not the most subtle person in the world. The thing is, for most of your opponents, the difference in skill would have been so great that even if they noticed your tells, they wouldn't be in a position to do anything about it. It'd be like, well, like comparing me and Aki. He knows more about my playstyle than anyone else, but if you asked him to deploy countermeasure against me in a match, there wouldn't be much he could do about it. All the knowledge in the world will do you no good if you're not in a position to use it.
Interesting. I suppose that is a good point. In that case, maybe we could
talk about something else, yeah? Something that all of us can be a part of? Just an idea.
I had completely forgotten you were here, Shoichi.
Yeah, I noticed. My spirit was about ready to leave my body. I barely understood anything that was said in the last few minutes. Sorry, we got surprised by Yuuichi-kun, that's all. Sorry, I got too engrossed in the conversation myself. You're fine, just for the love of all that is sacred, can we talk about something else? I don't want to spend the entirety of lunch break listening to you three droning on and on while I stay silent. Besides, you guys aren't even eating. At the mention of lunch, Sai, Keisuke, and I all look around, spotting the fact that our lunch boxes are still neatly wrapped and untouched in front of us, while Jun and Shoichi's are empty and pushed to the side. No way! You guys wouldn't stop, so we just ate. But you were the one who told them to go along with it when I brought up the subject of tennis. Yeah, and little did I know it would turn into my own death sentence. Sorry! It's fine, just try to remember that we're here. It's not really fun to be left out of a conversation. We're going to leave off here tonight. La 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 la. I can't really think of anything to say, so stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.